Okay, Rob. Hi.
Hey, Jen.
I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit as a teacher, if you can tell us a little bit about the protector mentality and how that impacts your job, and specifically with the threat that you just had at your school last week. If you want to tell us about that.
Sure. So my name is Rob Barrett. I teach high school science at West Michigan Academy of Environmental Science, and been teaching there for this is year 6 for me, and I've been doing Krav for 7 years here with Craig. And so the idea of the protector's mindset has come into play a number of different times, both during physical altercations like breaking up fights and things like that, but even more commonly just in terms of managing conflict amongst the kids. So that idea that once any kid in this school or any kid in this area, these are my kids and it's my job to help protect and keep them safe, as well as keep myself safe too. So that's kind of the mindset that's been built into me from our training here. And that training has helped out, like I said, just day to day with stuff interacting with kids. But then also we recently had a threat at our school. It was an email threat that we got to our elementary building. It was about a week after another incident that kind of had our flags up. And so we, as a teacher, all I heard on the intercom was we're going in a lockdown position. This is not a drill. And so there's stuff going through my head, and immediately I'm thinking, okay, we gotta get our kids in here and get them into the areas. So the training that we had gone through as a school, that helped a lot because we didn't have questions about what we were doing. We just went right into it. The kids knew where to go. And then from there, so from the initial response, that's when more of my Krav training kicked in from working here with Craig. So I started immediately thinking about what are the next steps? What do I need to do? What am I listening for? I strongly believe that having trained here, I was able to keep calm during that time and think through those things. Another important point was I was able to not really second guess what was going on. I just said, here's the best info I have. So the training paid off right there. And in the end, it turned out to be an email threat. We didn't know that at the time. So for a while, we were all just kind of waiting to see what happened. And then the kids got dismissed. And
Well,
yeah,
and what was it like for you as a teacher? Because we don't think of these things very often,
sure.
you know?
Yeah. Well, as a teacher, my mind is, which kids do I have in my room? Who's out in the hallway? Who's in the bathroom? I had kids in my room from a substitute. So I had substitute teachers' kids in my room. I had kids from another room who were doing an independent study activity at the time. And so it's not a nice, neat set of kids who are doing the same instructions. I've got kids in there who are scared. So I had to, we had, one girl in particular who was having a really rough time with it. And so her friends were comforting her. I had to check on them. I had to let the substitute teacher know what was going on and keep him updated. Yep, the whole time I'm just trying to take a look at the big picture and see how do we get these kids out of here. I'm trying to listen down the hallway to see if I hear any kind of commotion or anything that indicates gunshots or explosions. Do I have to get the kids out of this room, or do we need to stay here? Does somebody else need help? So there's a lot of stuff going through your head, and it just helps to
Well,
bring it back.
and I think we don't think about that because that's a lot of people management, and suddenly you're responsible for these kids in ways
Yeah.
we don't normally think that you are. Right?
Yeah. And the other thing that I found going through my head was which of these kids are going to be most able to help in the next scenario? Because we're calling them kids, but these guys are, I work with high schoolers, so these are 15 to 18, some of them 19 years old. How could I actually utilize this person in an emergency? So I had kids who were hunkered down and they, thankfully had their cell phones on them. So they're contacting teachers outside of the room to try to see, we had a few teachers on a field trip. So they were kind of communicating third party with them, trying to see where their friends were, because some of their friends were in the bathrooms and I would have no way of knowing that. So one of the kids sitting on the floor is talking to somebody else out of the building, who's talking to somebody else who's in a bathroom, and then we were able to locate her and get her into a secure area. So it's putting
Wow.
the kids to work too, and the whole thing turned into a good training opportunity because it was a true stress test for us. The kids, for that first 20 minutes or half an hour, it was real for all of us, and then after that, we were able to kind of come back down and try to view it for what it was, which is, you know, a realistic training opportunity for all of us.
Thank you, Rob.
Sure.
Everybody, that's my friend Rob, and he's a protector that you may not think normally, but he's a teacher, and you got to hear his story. So stay tuned for more.